everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today we're going to be setting up my July budget. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I'm on a mission to become debt-free and financially stable. So I went ahead and I did make a list of all of my bills. These are all of my fixed expenses for the month. And then I also broke down my variable expenses, which are actually pretty consistent from month to month. My wallet gets a total of $540 for the month, split between two paychecks because I am paid twice per month. I did put my electric bill, that's the APS right here. This I do put under variable because it does change from month to month. I know it's technically a bill, but because it does change, I can't exactly always know what it's going to be. So that's why I don't put it under fixed expenses. This month, the only big change that I have to my budget is this electric bill. If you guys have been following along, you know I live in Arizona and it's been well over 100 degrees. So I think last month my bill was, I want to say it was around like 79, and it's jumped to 110 because it's been hot and I can't sleep when I'm hot. So I do run my air. I wouldn't say too cold. I think I set my thermostat around like 76 or 77 when I go to bed. And then while I'm at work, I have it set to 81. But even with that, and I do live in, my apartment is on the third floor. So I'm assuming that probably has something to do with it. So it is 110, and I do expect this to go up. I think last year I think my highest bill was like 180, which is a lot because my apartment's not that big. And then I do have my sinking funds and savings challenges under variable expenses. I decided not to put the savings in the savings section because um, it does vary from month to month how much goes into savings. So I have a total of $2,027 for my fixed expenses for the month and a total of $2,150 for my variable expenses. And that comes out to $4,177. And one thing I did forget to mention, I am on a journey to become debt free. I did not put my debt into this section because, I mean, I guess student loans is considered debt, but I put that under fixed expenses and I treat that like a bill. And then the money I am putting away towards paying off some collections accounts that I have, that goes under my sinking funds because I do have an envelope for that. So I'm just going to put this off to the side for now. And I'm going to go ahead and set up my actual calendar. I like having my bills listed both ways. I like to see the actual list like this, and I do also like to see them on a calendar. So we'll go ahead and start with my paydays this month. I did confirm with our payroll that I wasn't sure if we were going to be paid on the 3rd or a different day, because sometimes since the holidays fall on a Saturday, they're observed on the weekday before. But he did confirm that we are going to be paid on the 3rd, so I'll put my payday there, and then I will go ahead and put my other payday on the 20th. So typically I'd be paid on the 5th and the 20th, but because the 5th is on a weekend, it does throw off some of the pay dates. Next, I'm going to go through and put these off to the side. I'm going to go through and I did pre-label all of my stickers with the bill and then the amount. So the first one that's due in July is my dental, and this one's always due on 5th. And this is an automatic deduction straight from my bank account. So that one always comes out first. And then I have my, let me see what's next. APS comes out on the 10th. So next will be Cox and cell phone, which come out on the 6th. And actually, I do have my cell phone service through Cox. So it's all through one company. It's just, I do put them separate. Just, it's easier for my brain to track. And then next we have my APS, which is my electric. And like I said, I do know the amount already for, this is actually for June's bill, but that comes out on the 7th. And all of my bills in the first half of the month are pretty crammed together. They all come out pretty much close to this first week, I think. Next one I have is my Amazon Prime. and that is $16, and that one comes out on the 8th. And then I have my Apple, which is my YouTube. No, actually, I will have to switch this one. I still consider YouTube Premium. That's like my streaming, how I watch stuff. I don't actually pay through Apple anymore. I pay directly through YouTube, which is a little bit cheaper. So I think I might have to change this amount, but for now I have it at um, $30. And this is also for my, what do you call it? iCloud storage. So this one comes out on the 12th. And then the last one that I have for this first paycheck is my car insurance. And this is also an automatic deduction that comes straight out on the 13th. And so that's everything for my first paycheck. Everything in blue comes out from my first paycheck. And then let's see, for the second half of the month, the first one that comes out is my rent. And my rent is due. I usually pay it on the 20th because that's my payday, but it's actually due on the 21st of the month, and that's $1,325. And my student loans are $290, and those are also due on the 21st. And then I have my subscriptions for the second half of the month. Those come out on, oh, I think I got pen on here, on the 25th. And then the last one that I have for my second paycheck is my Canva subscription, and that one comes out on the 27th. So as you can see, my bills are pretty front loaded to the first half of the month. However, there are more bills in the first half, but the amount is higher for the second half because of my rent and my student loans and stuff like that. Okay, so next I will go through and I will walk through and show you how I break down what comes out of what check. So like I said, I like to have the list here of when my bills come out. I like to be able to visually see when my bills come out on the calendar. And then on this next page here, I do a breakdown of how much will come out of each check. So as I mentioned, each time I get paid, I put, these are going to be the actual, I put $270 in for paycheck 1, and I put $270 in for paycheck 2, and that covers groceries. Groceries, I don't have my wallet here, I'd show you, but groceries, spending money, dining out money. I have a buffer envelope, and then I have one for drinks, which is like for sparkling water or anything not water. If I want to go get coffee or if I want to get a Diet Coke, I'll use that envelope. And then APS is going to go under here, and that's going to be 110. And then combined, my Cox and Self one, this is actually going to be 146. Amazon Prime, I think it's 16. It might be a little over 16. I think it's 16. And then I have to go back and look for my Apple. We're doing 30. Like I said, it's a little bit less. And then my insurance is 132. And then for my sinking funds and savings challenges for the month, I roughly plan about $1,500 for the entire month. So that's about $750 per check. So that's what I will put under here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and quick add this up. So we have 270 plus 110 plus 146 plus 16 plus 30 plus 132 plus 750. Whoops. Okay, so it's $1,454 coming out of my first paycheck. And then for my second paycheck, I go ahead and do the breakdown here. I have my wallet with $270, and then my student loans are $290. My subscriptions are, I'm trying to think. I think this is my X subscription. I actually don't remember what these are. I just know that this is what comes out. I'm gonna have to look at that though to make sure I'm actually paying for stuff that I need. This will be 34. My Canva is 16. My rent is 1,325, and then sinking funds again will be 750. And the sinking funds will change every now and then if, something unexpected comes up, or I don't know, anything unplanned that I don't have in my budget. Um, that it's a flexible number, but that's roughly what I put in each paycheck. So we'll do 16 plus 1325 plus 750. Okay, so 2,685. So as you can see, like I mentioned, all of my bills are front loaded to the front of the month, but they're way less. These bills are way less than the second half, and that is because of my rent and my student loans. Um, I think my rent's pretty average. What do you guys pay for rent, or what is considered an average rent in your area? I know there's been, rent's gone up, it's skyrocketed, then it's kind of come back down, but I think 1325 is pretty average, at least for the area that I'm in. And then, okay, next we'll go into my weekly check-in. So basically on this sheet, because I only get paid twice a month, I have two check-ins. But this first one will be for the first pay period, which, as I mentioned, will be July 3rd through the 19th, and I'll get paid on the 20th. And so here I just put in my budget. So for groceries, each paycheck, I budget $150. Home essentials, this is an envelope in my wallet. I think I forgot to mention that before. That gets 20. My spending gets 25 per paycheck. Dining out gets 25 per paycheck. Drinks gets 40 per paycheck, which I know seems like a lot, but I mean, when I say a lot of sparkling water, I feel like I drink more sparkling water than regular water. I don't know if that's healthy, but that's what happens. And then $10 in buffer. And so what I do at the end of the pay period, so probably the week that I get paid, or the week, yeah, prior to my next paycheck, I'll go through my wallet and I will see how much I spent from there, and I'll put that in here and then write how much is remaining. And typically I do not roll over. I should have brought my wallet. I'm so sorry about that. Um, I don't roll over. Like if I had $25 left in groceries for the pay period, I wouldn't take that 25 and put it into my wallet for the following pay period. So it's not like I'd have 175. I usually take my remaining money here and just make note of how much is left to see if I need to tweak any categories. And then I will put that money into savings challenges, or what I started doing last paycheck is anything that was left over in groceries. I do have a envelope. I'll show it to you real quick. I think it's in here. Yeah, okay. So I have this envelope that I made, very specific to me, but H Mart is a big Korean grocery store that's near me, and I love shopping there, but I don't go there that often. I'm Korean. I really like making Korean food. I make things like homemade kimchi, and so like when I do that, I need to go to this store specifically to buy the ingredients that I need. So what I've been doing is if I have leftover money in groceries, I will take some of that and put that in this envelope just to so I'm not taking money out of my paycheck to put in this envelope since I have 17. Um, and this is something I started just last paycheck. So trying to build that up. So when I do need to get specific ingredients that I can only find at the store, I will use this envelope just from rollover money from my wallet. And it's not everything usually that I have left over in groceries, because sometimes I have a little bit, sometimes I have more. And so if I have more, I'll put a little bit in that envelope and then a little bit into my savings challenges. Whew. Okay, that was a lot. Okay, the last thing I want to show you guys is some of the savings challenges that I have going still. Um, so if you saw my last video, I don't know what happened. I misplaced my $5 monthly savings challenge tracker that I made. But this first envelope is going to be for the $5 challenge, and I basically just try to save as much as I can in here. Any $5 bills that I've left over, I'll use and put in here. I do a $1 savings challenge, so any ones I put into this envelope. I have the same for $10. Usually I allocate for each of these some money. So like for the $5 challenge, I might allocate $10 from my paycheck. And then anything that I have left over in my wallet, I will contribute extra from there. And that goes for all three of these. And then I am working on a $1,000 savings challenge, which I'd like to get more of this done. I think I only have like $50 in here. But that's a slow going one. And then I have Cash Stash, which I can show you guys real quick. This one, sorry about that. This one is the Cash Stash that I'm working on, and so this saves 465. So I'm trying to get some of these bigger ones knocked out, but I'm hoping to get this done to put towards my month ahead challenge. Yeah, and then I also have this Hello Summer challenge. This I got from Happy to Plan with Desiree. If you follow her channel, this is one of, on her Patreon, but this is just a fun roll the dice challenge that has pretty decent amounts. It's not too much. It's enough that I can roll a couple times and have fun with it and save. I usually have between like $30 and $40 at the end of the month since I only do this twice a month. But this is also a fun one. And then last thing I will show you guys is the month ahead, which is kind of its own separate savings challenge. But in here, I have a month ahead challenge that I made, and this is available in my Etsy shop. If you're interested, I will leave it in the description below. It is a printable, so you guys can download it and print it at home. But I have each category of my bills, and right now I finished cell phone, and I am working on dental insurance, and this one I should have knocked out my first paycheck of July. So I think once I finish this one's $50. Well, it's actually 48, but I just rounded it to 50. And so I'll have this one completed, and then I'm going to move on to my subscriptions and start saving for this. So each paycheck, I allocate money from my paycheck to this, and if I have enough left over in my wallet, I will try to add a little bit extra. But this one's going to take a bit because I do have some pretty hefty amounts like rent that I have to save. But that is going to conclude today's video. I hope you found this video helpful. My next video will be a cash planning video for my first paycheck of July. I'll go through and I will show you the breakdown of how I decide how much money goes into my sinking funds. If you guys are interested in that, please consider subscribing. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.